Today I want to talk about how one athlete costs Nike almost $3 billion in valuation. Media it plays a big part in how the stock market moves. You can have a bad publicity story come out and your stock tanks, or you can have some good news come out and it skyrockets. So it's very dependent on news because during the course of a year, you have the earnings reports that are big catalyst moves for the upside or the downside. But besides that, you're just kind of following the overall market trend. So these random stories that come out are a big reason why the stock can go in one direction or the other. And in this case, it was a negative story that cost Nike $3 billion in valuation. So we're going to go back to February of 2019. Duke star Zion Williamson is in the midst of one of the most hyped up college seasons in college basketball that we've seen since LeBron James. Pretty much everyone was talking about him, mainly because he was playing on Duke, which is a loved and hated team, but also because he is just a monster when it comes to his physical traits and his skill level. He is a freak athlete, and he was doing things on the basketball court that people have never seen, or at least since LeBron James was going through high school. This was a man playing against kids, basically. He was 285 pounds, and he was just built like an athlete, just an incredible person to watch play the game. So we have this incredible player on a well-known team going against their biggest rival in North Carolina on a nationally televised game during February of 2019. It is so popular and so hyped up that Barack Obama is in the crowd and they're just panning through all the celebrities, but something happens pretty early on in the game. I remember sitting on the couch and being stunned that this happened. And one of the first plays of the game, Zion gets the ball, makes a move, and he crumbles to the floor. This is probably the most watched game of the regular season when it comes to college basketball, and everyone's watching Nike, which is a company that sponsors Duke. They're talking about, oh, they're going to be signing Zion to this incredible contract. And on the first play of the game, on this nationally televised game, he goes down with what looks like a really scary injury. Anytime you see a player go down without contact, you are thinking the worst. You're thinking of blown Achilles, torn ACL, torn hamstring, something that is going to sideline the player for a significant amount of time. But after watching the replay, you saw what happened. It wasn't an injury. It was he burst through his brand new Nike shoes. So now you have this image of the most well-known college athlete out there bursting through some brand new Nike shoes, and you have this zoomed up image of his foot bursting through the side. You see the Nike swoosh on there, and it's a huge negative publicity story for Nike at that time. As I mentioned, Duke is a Nike school, and Zion just signed a $75 million contract to be a Nike athlete, and he was going to be getting his own signature shoe. So this was supposed to be a huge moment for Nike, bringing in some of the top athletes, which they've done since they brought in Michael Jordan such a long time ago. But this was supposed to be a huge day for them on the largest stage, and it turned into a really bad publicity story on the first play of the game. The following morning, Nike opened down 1.37%, which is not that much, but when you think based off of the market being pretty flat during that day, that is a huge drop compared to the overall market, and as a result, the market cap loss was $3 billion because of this negative publicity. Is that move to the downside 100% correlated to this incident of Zion bursting through his Nike shoes? Probably not, but it is a really interesting instance that things can change so quickly for a company just based off of news stories. You have some companies that really do not have many stories come out, and then you have some that are in the limelight constantly, and any publicity can really tank or push the stock up significantly. You see this a lot with car companies, social media. You have all of these controversies coming out and can result in huge moves to the up or downside. Now that we've talked about that, I want to talk a little bit about Nike, because Nike, as someone that is living in Portland and Oregon, Nike is our hometown team, and it is a member of not only my normal investing account, which is the dividend portfolio, it's also a member of my retirement account, just because I think it's really important to have companies that are nearby. It is a huge employer for the Portland area, and I had to drive past their Nike campus pretty recently. Its dividend is relatively small at 1.15%. It kind of fluctuates based off of the stock price. But the important thing is that over the past 5 years, it has done incredibly well. Over the past 5 years, it's up 78%, which is not as good as the overall market. But for a company, it had a pretty tough time during the pandemic, and I think it's bouncing back really well. And that's why I've decided to have it be a member of both my dividend snowball portfolio as well as my retirement account, because I believe in the company for the long term. So what do you think about Nike overall? Do you think it's worth putting in a dividend investing portfolio, or do you think the dividend yield is not high enough to warrant putting in that type of account? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it. Hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.